As the world goes back to work, I decided to figure out how the plant-based world works. So I talked to a lot of people, usually CEOs and the like of plant-based companies, but I don't really know how the products get made. So today we pull back the curtain a little bit to see just how plant-based food is made and what we think is going to be the future of plant-based food. I'm going to bring on my first guest from Cargill. You might not think of them as plant-based necessarily, but they're getting into it, and they're getting into it big. Anshuman Bhatia. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being with me today. You are the plant protein product line manager at Cargill. What do you think is going to happen to the plant-based industry beyond the burger?
Sure. And I think the penetration rates that we have seen primarily, and people give the examples of burgers with, I think, the success that both Beyond and Impossible have seen. I think beyond that, the innovation happening across all the different product categories within the meat analog space, as well as, I think, even in the dairy alternative space. So the analogy that is given by industry experts is with respect to plant-based milk, around 10 to 15% penetration rate. But when you look at any of the other alternative dairy categories, whether it be cheese, whether it be yogurt, the penetration levels are in low single digits, like 1.5%. Mm-hmm. And if you start looking at expanding that, I think the world is your oyster in that sense.
Matt, oh my gosh, McGuffey, I want to thank you for being with me. You are, look at this fabulous job, folks. This is the job you all want. You're the product manager for Savory Taste and Wellbeing. We've been talking a lot about taste, but of course, it's also the look of things. Mm-hmm. So what do you do to make something look like the color so that it's right? Like chicken, everyone knows it has to be white. So what do you do there?
Well, yeah, where our technology is best developed is with the burger and being able to use a like a beet color that's just stable enough to survive the shelf life. But then once the consumer puts that on their griddle, that it that degrades enough to where it's not pink anymore. Like a consumer doesn't want to eat a pink product. And then getting the searing and the Maillard reaction that helps to brown it throughout the cooking process so that it looks like a burger would look when you prepare it at your home. So the white color is definitely more challenging. Titanium dioxide is not something consumers have in their home pantry. Getting a white color is a technical challenge. It's one that we're we're investigating and that's down the road.
Bill Aimutis. Aimutis, there you go. Aimutis from the executive director of the North Carolina Food Lab Innovation Center. I have been wanting to talk to you for a very long time. I think I will start my first question with, why North Carolina?
Well, we grow about 85 to 90 different crops in the state of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And when we did an analysis about 5-6 years ago, we realized that 85% of the crops were leaving the state for further processing, which in turn we were leaving money on the table.
Right.
The state of North Carolina about 7 years ago realized that we needed to find some more industry for North Carolina. The furniture industry had left, the textile industry had left, and we were starting to lose a lot of percentage of manufacturing on the tobacco industry, which is our leading crop.
Still your leading crop.
It's still our leading crop, even though we're actually growing less tobacco today than we were during the Civil War. So it's still a major crop for us. But we grow, and we're in the top 10 on a number of different crops that most people aren't aware of: blueberries and strawberries, cantaloupe. We're leaders in the country on the growth of those types of fruits. Tomatoes, we're number 3 in the country. So we do have a lot of different crops that go into processed foods. As a result of that, the Innovation Lab was put into North Carolina because we also knew that there were a number of entrepreneurs starting to focus in on plant-based foods. And so in a little bit of luck and a little bit of foresight, our General Assembly decided to create a plant-based food center.
I want to bring on the North American president and CEO of Buhler with me today, Andy Sharpe. Pull up a chair. If you're having a bad day, and sometimes in COVID, some people had a lot of them, is there any phrase you say to get yourself back in the game?
One of the things I do in difficult times is I'll do what we call this creative writing. And I've got a book and I just will write for 5 minutes, and it's don't take a pen off a paper. just write whatever. So it might start blah, 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 blah. But in the end, it will come out to, hey, plant-based proteins, or, you know, what we're eating for dinner tonight, or what am I doing there? And if you write 5 minutes, it generally gets, for me, it gets onto a page what's troubling you or what's exciting you. And then you go and read it back. And that's a really good way to just chill, take it back to a good level to start again. So if you've never done it, give it a go. You'll be surprised.
That's one of the best answers I've ever had to that question. And I've asked a lot of people that question.